Hi my friends, this is Ken 1171 and in this video we're going to be discussing the final version of the SkinEdit script for Poser 12, the final version that goes to the store. It's a script for editing figure materials. So we have here a figure that was created before Poser 11. This is Hivewire Dawn, was created in the times of Poser 9, if I remember this right. So it's like versions before Poser 11 existed, and all her materials were created for Firefly. If we render now with materials like this, let's see what we get. Let's switch to Superfly and render. And she ends up all black because let's take a look why. Let's switch to the materials room. Please bear with me. This is early access Poser 12 and it's kind of slow in the materials room. So we have to have a little patience. It's going to get better. For now, it is slow. I'm trying to get to the torso materials. There you go. It started to load it now. Okay. We are working with a Poser surface root node that's used for both Superfly and Firefly. And it's telling me before I even render that the result is going to be black for the skin. Let's take a look what we have here. And yeah, I can see here already we have an invalid connection here. This dashed line means if we want to render with Superfly, which is the current rendering engine I'm set to use, this shader node cannot be connected like this. The scatter here cannot be connected to the color math this way. And then we have another one here that's trying to connect the two others in an illegal way that is not going to work with Superfly. And this is what those dashed lines are telling me and justify what we are actually having. So if I came to you here and asked, hey, can you fix this for me, make it work with Superfly? You would probably look back at me and just say, I wouldn't even know where to start, right? Because just look at this, it's complex. So let's go back to the pose room and take a look on how the SkinEdit tool can help us with this. First thing we need to do is we select the profile for the figure we are working with, is Dawn Special Edition. And then we have a few new options here and there. We're going to talk about them. This texture doesn't have lipstick or nail polish, so I'm going to enable them both. And then do a single click on Apply All. We'd wait a little bit. It does its thing, and when it's finished, which it's already done. If we go back to the materials room, let's see what happened. Here it is. We have the bump map. Oh wait, this is for teeth. It's still loading the material. There we go. We have the diffuse, the bump. Here is the bump and specular maps. And if you remember how this was before, it was a big mass of shaders, and now it has preserved all the original textures and it has rewired them to the root node in ways that work with Superfly and produce good renders. You can see in the preview here that this is the way to go. Now, it did all that with one click, and this is a starting point for our material editing. So once we have that basic material, you will notice it has added lipstick and nail polish to the fingernails and toenails because of the options here I have checked. If I uncheck those and apply all again, it's going to remove them all. But I'm going to leave them. And then I'm going to disable defaults, which is what I have applied until now. Apply all depends on using defaults. And to put it in a nutshell, this tool works in two stages. First, you rebuild the entire shader nodes for the entire figure with apply all, one button, one click solution. And then we disable defaults. It's not black anymore. And what happened now is once we disable this, it picks the materials as they are in the materials room, as they are in the figure right now, and we can add it now one group of materials at a time. This tool works with four material groups here: the inner mouth, the skin, the eyelashes, and the nails. Of course, the one you're going to be editing the most is the skin. You will notice I didn't mention the eyes. We're going to get there in time. For now, let's take a look on the skin. With defaults disabled, I can now edit the overall looks. For example, I want a darker skin, and I want to. Her skin looks rather dry. I want a more specular component there. Gonna change from 01 to 04, and instead of apply all, I'm gonna just apply, which means apply only to the skin these changes, and boom, at once all the changes were applied to all material zones assigned to skin. You'll notice it didn't change the nails or the eyes or anything else. Let's talk a little bit about the eyes. Um, this texture comes with a default for um, brown eyes, and I'm going to change them to blue. There you go. It changed them to blue, but it's still using those firefly shaders that don't work so well with Superfly, which is what I'm using to render now. So instead of apply all, I'm just going to apply eyes preset button here. It's going to rebuild only the eye shaders so that with one click, I have rebuilt the entire thing. And now, if I render close up of the face, we're going to have a better look on what we made so far. All right, we have eye reflections. Everything is set up with lipstick and skin and everything. It's darker, shinier. And maybe I want more bump. Um, let's do a close up to take a look on how the bump is doing. I think it's barely having any effect at the default value. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to increase it to, instead of 0.03 to 0.1, and let's see what we get. Again, not apply all, just apply and render again. Let's make a comparison what we had before and what we have now. Yeah, now I can see some pores and some skin details. Of course, skin details like pores and things like that bump controls. If I am at this distance, I'm not going to notice any difference at all. So, of course, you set these values depending on the distance you're going to be rendering for. But I guess this set of values is good for the skin. And now let's talk about one of the new features, the ability to save all I did here as a preset by pressing this button here. It looks like one of these old school diskettes. When I press this, it gives me a chance to save it. I'm going to save this as Dawn, darker, shiny air skin. Okay, and I save the preset. This preset is not going to show here because this is for figures. It's going to show when I load things, which is the other button there. That it is the one I just created. Okay, so if I go back here to defaults, okay, it reset everything to defaults on my settings here. If I enable it again, you see it picks up what's in the scene. But if I apply this right now, everything on the skin goes back to how it was before. I preserved the blue eyes because I didn't change it. This is just skin. And let's test what I just saved. I'm gonna load the preset for skin, this one. It sets up all the values here, and I'm gonna click apply. And boom, I recovered everything I set. Again, a preset that I previously saved to disk. And what if I want purple nails? So I switch to the nails matte zones. I change it to the color I want, let's say a dark purple, like this, and I apply it. Once it's applied, or maybe it's too dark, let's make a little lighter, like this, and apply again. That's the nice thing about this. I don't have to do it once for the fingernails, once for the toenail matte zones. I can do it once for all. And I can save a preset for this category here now. So I click this cat again and put Dawn purple nails and save it. All right, now I can get this back anytime I want. Now let's do an experiment here. I want to make the whole figure purple, like one of those video game characters. They have purple women there. So I go here to the diffuse color and choose a purple and maybe reduce the saturation to 64, click OK, and again, apply, not apply all, just apply. And boom, I have a purple woman. If I want to save this as a preset, I click here and put Dawn purple skin and save it. Now I have a preset for purple. Oh, by the way, the purple skin goes well with the purple nails as well. Now I can apply these presets of skin and nail in any combination with any other preset I have. And that's one of the new features, in addition to optionally being able to apply nail polish or not, because the default texture we loaded here doesn't have any. All right, let's talk a little bit about the editor. That's a new feature. It's right here. And when you open it, it's going to bring this disclaimer. And this is important because if you read it here, it says that it is possible that, oh, I'm in a hurry. I want to make a profile for a figure I have, but I'm not going to read the manual. I'm just going to try an error and see what it gets. Thing is, if you don't read the documentation and you do incorrectly, it may crash the SkinEdit tool. And of course, we don't want that to happen. You may be asking, okay, what does this do? We have this list of supported figures, but what if the figure you're using is not in the list? Then you come here and create your own profile to support that figure. Let's take a look how that works. But I just want to call attention that this is real. If you don't read the documentation and you don't familiarize yourself with how matte zones work and the differences that exist between different figures, and it is possible to use this tool and still create an invalid profile that's going to create invalid input data for the tool, and it's going to crash. So by clicking yes, you're accepting these conditions. I'm going to click yes, and by default here, when you load it, it's going to pick all material zones from the current figure on stage, which is Hivewire Dawn. So for Dawn, these are the matte zones she has. So first of all, I have to give the profile a name, which is what's going to show here. And I'm going to name this Dawn Special Edition, Dawn SE. And you have to choose the gender. You may wonder, what does has to do with the materials? Well, if you're going to apply lipstick and nail polish, this only applies to female figures. So that's why this setting is here. All right, let's see how to create a profile now. Dawn already has a profile, but I'm going to create a new one with a different name just to show you how the process works. So I have all the matte zones here, and I have two categories on the right side. What we're going to do is we're going to drag those to the material groups, which are 5, you may think, hey, those are the same ones we saw over here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to assign which methods go to each one of those. And then we're going to treat some special cases later. Let's start here with the eyes. In Hivewire figures, this is very easy because you're going to see here, the eye materials are all prefixed by number 1. So I select all the materials that belong to the eye globes, the eyeballs, cornea, the eye whites, the iris, the pupils, and the lacrimals, and click the plus button here, and they show in the eyes list. I can go to the next one here, which is the inner mouth. Again, in Hivewire figures is very easy. All the materials for the inner mouth, which is the gums, the inner mouth, the teeth, and the tongue, are prefixed by number 2. It may be harder with other figures, but I just want you to show you what goes where. Everything that goes inside the mouth goes in this list. And then the skin. The skin is a little trickier because, first of all, we have ears, face, lips. Lips is part of the skin, remember that. Arms, collars, hands, everything that's in the Hivewire figures have the 3 prefix is skin. But we're going to add 2 additional ones, which is toenails and fingernails. All right? Because in most texture maps, those go in the same map, the fingernails, toenails, and the skin. So once we select those things, we click the Add button, and it's filled up. All right, next is the lashes. Usually figures only have 1 set of lashes, but Dawn actually has 2. So the lashes and the lashes large, most figures have only 1. Let's add it there. And last one, the nails. Those are the easiest. Fingernail and toenails go in this list. And we're done. Next, with special cases. This is where I want you to pay special attention. It's made of major groups of eyes and lips, basically, eyes and lips. Some of those things get special attention. You'll see we have 1 button to create all the eye materials, and we're going to list them here. All right, eye surface in Dawn is called the cornea. If you don't know which material goes over the eyes, that covers the eyes in your figure, you switch to the materials room and click right on top of the eyes, see what comes out. In Dawn, it's going to be the cornea. In Victoria 4, I think it's called eye surface, and so on. So in here goes everything that is going to be 100% transparent and shiny, very reflective. If the figure has things like, what is that called? Tear tubes, like Victoria 4 has, that goes here too. Dawn doesn't have those, so it's just the cornea. Second is the lacrimals. Those are, let's look close here, this little triangle here in the inner corner of the eyes. And here it is, the lacrimal. I'm going to edit and go to the next one. Eye whites. This varies from figure to figure what it is called. In Dawn, it's called eyes, but it's actually the eye whites. Add it here, and then iris. Usually figures have only 1 iris, but for example, Echo 3 it's split into left and right. So pay attention to that. Eyes here, iris here, then pupil usually only 1, but Echo 3 has 2 left and right. Pay attention to what your figure has. And finally, lips. There is only 1 set. Here it is. We add it, and then I'm done. I added everything. I'm going to click Save Profile. You're going to notice it didn't ask me for a file name. Well, that's what you enter here. What you type in here is going to show up in that list. And we're done. We can close the tool. Oh, by the way, this is where you open the PDF manual in all of my tools. And please read this and be familiarized with the process before you continue. All right, we can close this tool now. If you use only that figure, that's all you need. You're probably never going to open that tool again. But we have to close the SkinEdit and open again for that to show up in the list. Here it is, the one we just created, Dawn Special Edition. And that covers about everything I wanted to tell about this new version. How to create a profile, how to use the tool in 2 steps. The first step, apply all, does the global job of rebuilding all shaders, and then you go uh, group by group here, doing your changes and clicking on apply. Not apply all, just apply. One last thing I want to tell before we are done with this is you may notice there are some fields here with a different color. The yellow here, um, those are materials that are shared between poser surface and physical surface. This is all in the manual. If you click here and go read it, this is all there. I'm just calling attention though that the materials you see here, the properties you see here in the physical surface are not all those showed in gold here or in yellow are shared between the two. So if you edit, if your root node is physical surface, you're going to edit those here and also the ones that are here in gold. One last detail is that remove shader nodes work with any figure. It doesn't have to be one specifically supported by a profile. You can apply this to any figure to remove all shader nodes and leave only the texture nodes. Or if you have some orphan nodes in the materials room, you can click here and remove those as well. And that covers about everything I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.